Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh, okay. Gosh darn it. Why technology?
I'm I'm terrible. And then literally all my friends were like, Angela, AirPods, use your phone. I was like, really? And
Really?
then yeah, and
That's funny.
I've tried it all. And finally I was like, you know what? This is the easiest way because they're like the technology of our phones nowadays is like insane.
Is insane. You're
Um,
absolutely right.
so I can't see your face right now, but I can
That's
see
just
your
I don't have
logo.
my video on. There's my
There you
video.
go.
Now it's all
You just
working.
do you just do
Yeah.
audio. You don't do visual, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I did not shower.
We do not do a YouTube thing and like put every like it's so like I nobody's gonna sit and watch a podcast. I think that's weird. Like the whole idea is that it's all like on anyway, whatever.
Well,
Whatever.
and then I'm like sipping water at the wrong time, and then they post that, and you're like,
Right? You're like,
oh,
really? That's the picture you're gonna put up? That's awesome. Thanks for that. Jerk. Yeah, totally agree.
I'm like licking my mouth, like
Right?
I don't know. It's just super funny. And then you don't have
Yep.
control over the clip they choose, and you're like,
Hmm.
oh, I wouldn't have chose that one.
That's not what I would have put, but thanks. That's awesome. Yeah.
I said 13 times.
Hmm.
Perfect. That's a great
Perfect.
one.
Yep. And that's funny because I just did a podcast and it was a video, audio, video, blah, blah, blah. And I had a shirt on that went like it was like one of those kind of wrap shirts and it was buckled right here. You can see my bra the whole time. I am not posting it. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, nobody in the room could have said, hey, your shirt's open. Like you literally could see my bra. I was like, nope, not posting that shit. So yeah, no one will ever see
I
that.
know, and then like you have to worry about your background. So I
Yeah,
literally do this all in my basement now, and I'm just like, then I don't have to clean anything. It's just a
right? Then
plain
nobody has to
background.
see my back. Yeah, my backdrop. Yeah, exactly. All right. How are you, friend?
I am good.
Good.
I It was so crazy when you posted yesterday because I was like, I was thinking to myself, how cool is that a year ago I talked about this dream very briefly because I'd actually, I don't know if you knew, but I had just applied for the fourth time before we met. And
Okay.
so I was hesitant to kind of talk about it because I was like, oh my God, what if I get rejected again? Um, and so it was like, it was so cool because I'm like, dream big and all that. I re listened to what we talked about a year ago. Because I was like, I don't want to repeat, but I want to make sure it feels like a follow up.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I were a mom, how cool would that be if I listened to this woman a year ago and
Mm-hmm.
then to hear like she's an American Ninja Warrior now, like this,
Yeah.
because this is a crazy big dream.
Yep.
Um, Gymnastics is cool, but ninja, and I don't even know if you know, but 70,000 people apply and they pick 200 of us. So, like, I love it because it's like, I'm not saying go be a ninja warrior, but I'm saying dream huge, right?
Yep.
Like anything you're capable of. And so, by getting this opportunity, it's like, it almost just opens that door to moms, like, think of all the really, really big stuff.
Yep.
Um, and I talked a lot about my friend last time. I will give you a heads up. So she was on my sideline, which was huge, but she is actually nearing the end of her. I'm actually flying out in a week to say goodbye. So,
I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
so crazy, and what a blessing that my hero, the woman behind this entire thing, is got to be on my sideline live in LA. So it's really been a fairy tale the last
Yeah.
year, honestly, that
Right.
this all got to happen. And but
Wow.
most importantly, the moms that have reached out to me has been awesome.
Oh, good.
Um, almost like I've given them permission.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, if she can do that, why can't I do that?
Mm-hmm. Which is all the beauty of it. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get started. I'm going to do the introduction of the podcast and then we'll just start in and we're not going to talk about picture or questions. We're just going to talk. And
Awesome.
we'll
Hey,
do
do
some
you want me to give
updates.
like a really quick? So I noticed a year ago I didn't really give my story necessarily.
Yep.
Do you want me to give like a brief little synopsis?
Yeah, so I have changed that since you were on, that I give the moms a little platform at the very beginning to just say whatever it is they want to say. Like, you want to talk about your business, talk about your business. You don't want to talk about your business, you don't have to. You want to talk about whatever. But I just say, tell us a little bit about yourself and whatever you want to promote, you can promote. So we'll start with that. And then you
Awesome.
say,
Love it.
you talk about what you want to talk about, and then we'll just get into it.
Awesome. I love it.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Hello and welcome to Let's Be Real Mama Journeys. I'm Nikki Brooker, the host of this podcast. And in our podcast, we like to explore motherhood in a way that is honest, real, and authentic. And today in studio, we have again Angela Fuller. Hi, Angela.
Hello, Nikki. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. So you came and spoke last November. I cannot believe it's been a year. When you said that, I was like, holy cow, I had no idea it was that long. So a year ago, 52, about almost exactly 52 weeks ago, you came and talked and taught us about yourselves. But let's start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and what you want to know, what you want the people to know.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I am so excited to be back on here. Honestly, a year ago, I talked about dreaming big and I talked about my whole gymnastics journey and competing as a gymnast. And I had mentioned doing Ninja Warrior. Well, now I get to come back on here and tell you guys that huge dream that actually I had been chasing for 4 years. I didn't mention that a year ago. And I just applied for the fourth time when I talked to you guys last time. And I got the call. So I was on American Ninja Warrior this summer. I got to represent all the moms. I'm the oldest competitor ever from Colorado as a female, which is amazing. And so I was just aired in the end of June, and it's just been incredible to accomplish this huge goal. But I do want to take you guys back a little bit. If you're new and you didn't listen to me speak before, why this is such a big deal, you guys, is that I grew up as a gymnast and cheerleader. I was an athlete my whole entire life, you guys. And right out of college, I was in a horrible car accident and I broke my back and I completely lost myself. And I wasn't active for years. And basically that part of me was gone. And then I luckily met my husband, decided to have a family. And then during my second pregnancy, carrying my son, I herniated 2 more discs. I was on disability. I was told you're definitely done. And I hit rock bottom. I had severe postpartum and it was a really, really hard time for me. And so what happened was a friend recommended Zumba and I went to a Zumba class, which was so much fun, but I also could barely move. I was 50 pounds overweight. But I loved I got my sparkle back. But I still was struggling. And then the moment that changed everything was a phone call that I received. My best friend, same age as me, mother of 2, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And it was the wake up call I needed that, you know what, tomorrow's not promised and I want to fight for this. So I had not been active for 14 years. So I missed flipping and flying and skiing and all the fun stuff. So I hired a nutritionist, got in the best shape of my life, and did high intensity interval training classes. And I shed the 50 pounds and the back pain was gone, which is a miracle. And so I decided to teach group fitness to mama. So I teach here in Highlands Ranch. And then I decided to chase my 2 dreams. I wanted to flip and fly. I wanted to be on American Ninja Warrior, but I knew that was a little difficult. So I signed up, started doing training, kept applying, kept getting rejected, and decided on the side, you know what, I'm going to chase a dream I have more control over, right? Which was to compete as a gymnast. And so I compete as a gymnast. This was my second year for the NAIGC. And I actually, not only did I compete on American Ninja Warrior this year, but I also competed in a national gymnastics competition in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was the oldest female from Colorado there too. So
wow.
It has been, yeah. So I wanted to take you guys back because I want you to understand that I know what it's like to just be in that really hard place. And, you have no idea what you're capable of. You have no idea. And you can turn it around tomorrow. And, so that is kind of to take you guys back why I'm so excited. And I'm like literally beaming if you could see me, because this is truly something that was when I was on disability 12 years ago, this wasn't even a glimmer of this wasn't even a possibility. And here I am as an American Ninja Warrior and a competitive gymnast, and I'm 43 years old. So I have 2 little boys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so blown away by your passion and your dedication to this. I have questions. So,
Yes. Yes.
why, like, out of all the things, why American Ninja Warrior? Why was that
Yeah.
like, this is my dream?
This is one of my favorite stories. So I had watched it for years, you guys, and I had a friend call me randomly and said, I had a dream you're on American Ninja Warrior. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, I could never do that. And here I am sitting overweight. Like, there's no way. So it was kind of interesting. That kind of put the bug in the ear. And then I saw a mom, 42 years old, hit a buzzer, Sandy Zimmerman. So kind of in my mind, I was like, well, it's too late for me. But it would be cool. Then I saw her that kind of told me that. And then I still was going to live through my son. So I took him to a ninja gym. He wanted to play. And the coach was like, do you know adults can play? And I was like, are you serious? Yeah, okay, I'll play. I was hooked. I mean, it was crazy. I went once and
Oh,
then I was going every week. And then it was just kind of like, I can do this.
mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how it came about was I had watched it. I'm a gymnast, so Ninja Warrior is very like a lot of them are gymnasts. And it was kind of that huge, crazy, crazy dream. And I just was like, you know what? I'm doing this. So that's when I kind of decided to chase it. I did not know it was so hard to get on.
Mm.
So if you don't know, 70,000 people apply, and they selected only a couple hundred this year. So
That's incredible. 70,000. And
yeah,
that's like, that's application, video, like all the things.
all the
Imagine,
things. It's like a 10-page application and a 3-minute video. Yeah.
wow. That's
Yeah.
a lot of weeding to go through for these, for the, whatever, the producers or whoever does it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense. Somebody kind of challenged you, said, hey,
Yeah.
I had a dream. You should try this. So good for you. And then the broken back thing. So did it heal so that like you're not in pain anymore? Like how did that all like resolve itself?
I know that's like the number one question. Like they almost don't believe me, right? If you see my MRI, a lot of my damage is permanent because I have degenerative disc disease and I had impinged nerves and all that. What I think most people don't understand is the body does heal itself.
Hmm.
And even if you can't get rid of the breaks or you get the inflammation out and you build the muscles around it. So I actually built like kind of a girdle of muscles surrounding my back. And
Okay.
so it supported it. Um, it's kind of a miracle, yeah, because it
Yeah.
doesn't really make sense that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Right.
But I have no pain. And even my spine doctor was just like, wow, I had no explanation for this, Angela. Um, so that's
That's
been pretty
amazing.
crazy. Yeah. Especially the tumbling I do and the gymnastics is like the
Yeah.
hardest thing on
Just,
your lower back.
yes. And the landings, right? Like the landings, I can only imagine would be pretty painful, but they're not.
I actually just read that when you land a flip, it's like 11 to 14% or 14 times your body weight.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, whoa, on your lower back. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, that's like pretty crazy. And that's where I think people don't understand that like clean eating, building muscle, and getting inflammation out of your body. That is huge to get, especially for me. The biggest issue with my back was the impinged nerves. So it was shooting pain down my legs. And so I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't walk well. I was in constant pain. I slept on a heating pad for 14 years. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So when I walked on that stage, I won the lottery. I was
Yeah.
like, I cannot believe that it's just awesome. And I remember the first thing I thought was the amount of moms that get to see me do this and know that like they can do anything they set their mind to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that it's been a dream come true.
Awesome. Love that. So besides telling moms, just go out and do the things that you even don't think you can or dream big. Like dreaming big can be so, it's so different for each person, right? So dreaming big for one is completely different than another. Like I have no interest in being on American Ninja Warrior and know that I do not have the balance or the upper body strength for that. So that's not going to happen. But that's not my dream, right? We all have like our own niches of dreams that mean something to us. So if it's not something like that, I feel like your message is about truly finding what that dream is. And I think that's a block for a lot of moms, a lot of women.
Absolutely. So I always say, what sets your soul on fire?
Oh,
We
I
all
like that.
have something that when we go to bed at night, sometimes you'll dream about it, right? Something that I don't want to say, but it kind of haunts you in your dreams. You think
Mm-hmm.
about something and you're like, it'd be really cool if I could do that. We
Yep.
all have something. And it could be, I want to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
I had a woman write me the other day, she's doing roller derby. She always wanted to do roller derby. And because she saw me, she's doing that. Um, you know, somebody wrote me, they want to be a painter. You know, there's a lot of different things that there's always that thing that you're like, and you think it's too late. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing I want you to focus on. Like, what just when you think about it, your soul is just like, oh my goodness, I would give anything to do what? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, when I say dream big, and I love that obviously my dream is pretty big, but I love because it just shows you that the sky is the limit. Like, there is no limit. Like, if you want to be in a TV show, go for it. And I don't care if you're 42 and you do that. But yes, I think that what I'm trying to say more importantly is that we tell our kids to dream big every single day. And we talk about they want to be a police officer or they want to be a teacher, but we stop dreaming when we become moms and we move our dreams to our kids. And so I want to show moms that let's dream with our kids and let's show them, right? We'll tell them to dream big, but do you know how cool it is to tell your kid dream big and then you make your own dream come true? And then your
Mm-hmm.
kids are on your sideline with giant signs saying, go, mom. I cannot even tell you how cool that is because we cheer them on all like rightfully so.
Yep.
But to give your child the opportunity to cheer you on is like there is nothing like that.
I think that's really important to say too. And I like that the way you said that, to give your kids the opportunity to cheer you on is is so important. It's funny because there's a lot of people, a lot of moms specifically, because we feel like we have to do it all. We have to do it all by ourselves and we have to prove we can, whatever it is that we have an issue with. But we don't often give other people the opportunity to bless us. And so this came up recently with a friend who was going through a hard time. And a bunch of us said, well, let us make you meals or let us do something for you. No, 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 I'm good. I'm good. We're good. I'm fine. I'm fine. And so finally, my one girlfriend looks at her and says, stop taking away my blessing to bless you. Like it's something I want to do to give back to you. So you're telling me no hurts me. And I was like,
Yep.
whoa, that got real quick. And the other mom was like, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't think of what I'm not allowing you to do for me. And so as you say that about your kids, rooting you on and giving them that opportunity to not only see mom outside of the role of all the regular mom stuff, but to go, wow, mom, you're a badass. Like that's
Yep.
pretty impressive, right? And whatever that dream is for you, whether it's not for most of us, it's probably not American Ninja Warrior, but for
Yeah.
for whatever it is for you to be able to give your kids that space to say, look at my mom, look what she did, right? That's huge.
Yeah. And my favorite quote is your kids deserve a mom they can brag about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. It's really cool to hear your kids be like, my mom can do a backflip or my mom, I don't know. I can't even explain it. And even my son said they were talking at school one day about like, well, what does your mom do for a hobby? Or what does your mom? And all the moms were like, or all the kids kept saying, well, my mom just cooks and cleans or my mom, which is fine. But he said it was so cool when hearing other moms like, well, my mom, is a lawyer and my mom, she teaches yoga or my mom, and I think that's so cool to have something outside of just being a mom. And being a mom is
Yep.
amazing.
Sure, sure,
But
sure.
there's something so incredibly awesome about doing something that's just about you. Like it's
Yep.
okay to have something that doesn't involve your kids.
Yep.
I just want to give permission to moms. And I have to tell you the cool story about being on set. So they allow 15-year-olds on the show now.
Okay.
So, which is kind of funny because I have a 14-year-old. So I am with kids, competing with kids that are, could be my child. And there were a number of mothers that came up to me because they're kids. So their moms were on set.
Sure.
So the moms come up and go, which one's your kid? I'm like, none of them. I'm actually competing. And then the moms would say to me, oh, and then I would say, well, why aren't you competing? That you should compete. Oh my gosh, I'm too old. And then I would say, well, how old are you? And they're all my age.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they almost got uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, no, like, I mean, it's great you're here, but like, man, it'd be kind of cool. You could do this with your kid even, but it was kind of a powerful moment. Just, I love getting moms thinking about that of
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to just live through our kids' dreams. We get to have them too.
We get to have them too. And I love that. I love that you are embodying that. You are making that happen. You are showing your kids, you are showing other moms, look what you can do. If I can do it, you can do it. Love that. What was like the first, I know you had a friend who said, but like what, besides getting a nutritionist and shedding the weight, was that
Yep.
harder than you thought it was going to be? Or was it
It
just
was
something
so
you just,
hard.
it was so hard? Yeah.
I mean, if you know me well, I'm so candid about it's a huge change. And I was a junk food junkie and I loved sugar, like loved sugar. Cupcakes are my jam. And I'll be honest, I really ate very few vegetables. Like I grew up in the 80s. I drank Kool-Aid and, McDonald's. So when I remember seeing the nutritionist, she went over what I could eat and I cried. I remember going to the grocery store. I'm like, I can't eat anything. But she made it pretty simple, eat from the earth. That's how your body knows how to respond. When you eat chemically processed stuff, your body's like, what? And then it inflames your body. It doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't give you fuel. So, eating really changed for me. It was really hard. I was shocked though. Once I started clean eating, once I started truly hit training and following that, the weight that I'd struggled with for years melted off. If it melt, and I was blown away. It was really quick, and I was like, "Whoa!" Now I do want to warn females: the first month you don't move a pound. Like the first
Uh-huh.
month I didn't lose 1 pound, and I was like, that's when most people quit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember like, no, I'm giving this 6 months. And I lost it in 6 months. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And it wasn't, and it's hard for me because I don't love talking about the weight because it was more the life I gained.
Mm.
And I love to say being strong and healthy. Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
focus on a number, focus on being strong and healthy. And
Yep.
how, you want to be able to do push-ups or do backflips or whatever that is. If you focus on the number and the aesthetics of weight loss, it's never gonna be long term for you.
Yep.
I want to fly in the air. So what do I need to do to fly in the air? you know?
And that's the part that gets you the best, that gets you the most, huh? The flying in the air.
Oh my gosh. So for those years, so I left gymnastics at 14 from an injury.
Right.
And ever since I was 14, I would dream about flying in the air, doing flips and doing giants every single night. It
Hmm.
haunted me, you guys. And I just missed it. It's like what my soul needs. And it's just who I am. I flipped and flew my whole life until right out
Mm-hmm.
of college after the car accident. So that flying in the air, it's a feeling that it's indescribable for me.
So what part of it don't you love? Is there a part you don't love?
Yeah, I will. The number one thing people ask me is, how are you so motivated?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined. I know what I want. I know what I want to accomplish. Um, it's such hard work. And so I am honest about that. And I feel like that's the number one thing. People will be like, well, I want to make this dream come true, but I'm not motivated. And it's like, well, how bad do you want it? Because you have to want it more than you have the excuse for it. And so I think that is the hardest part. And yeah, there are days where I just want to eat cupcakes and I just, want to have some wine. And I do that. There's definitely a balance for me. But for me, I stick to it on the weekends now, right? So I used to I'm good 80-90% of the time. And then I
Sure.
have my glass of wine and my cupcakes. But it's hard. And I would say being on the show was hard because you're putting yourself out there. That was really emotional. I had to keep it a secret how I did for a long time. And that was hard because people assumed I would hit a buzzer and they don't even know what it's like to get on the show. And I think the coolest part was after it aired, everybody was just so happy for me that my dream came true. And yeah, so it's been an emotional roller coaster. There's definitely days, and I will be frank with you, being rejected 3 years in a row on American Adore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To just keep
I was
going
like,
past that. Like, did you
oh,
set a time? Did you say, okay, if I get rejected a fourth time, I'm done? Did you say I'm going to try 5 times? Like, did you set that kind of milestone for yourself?
so I actually jokingly said this was my fourth and final year. What kind of happened was, this is kind of fun. When I had this dream come true, when I had this dream in my mind, I got a tank top that was an American Enjoyer tank top, and I had it on my shelf for all these years. And I look at it every single day, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear this tank top. I'm gonna be an American Enjoyer. And I'll never forget when I got the call because it literally had dust on it. I like shook it off because it sat there for 4 years. And I put it on and I was like, oh my gosh, I made it happen. Everybody asked me, do you think you would have kept going? I do. Um, I think the biggest thing that drove me to continue too was my best friend who has stage 4 cancer. She inspired the dream. And for me, I was like, she has to see me fulfill this dream. Like, she completely changed my life. She is my hero. And so I definitely felt that drive. And this year, I remember just praying the night before I got the call, like, God, if there's a year, let it be this year. And because she lives in LA, it was filmed in LA, it was filmed at
Okay.
Universal Studios. She was on my sideline in person for the big dream she inspired to come true. So it was so perfect that it happened this way. But I do think I am a very determined individual. I
Mm-hmm.
probably would have tried for 10 years. I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm honest with myself, I was going to do it until I got the call.
And then you got the call. And I love
Yeah.
that. I love the video of you getting the phone call. That's one of my favorite videos of just like you did it. Like it just gives me chills to think about because so many people, I think, especially after they become a mom, put their goals and their dreams on the shelf, like you said, and they just say, nope, not anymore, because it's now my kid's turn, right? I get to live through them and all of that stuff. And that's all great. But there's a point where sometimes you go, no, you know what? It's my turn. It's okay
Yeah.
for me to have a turn. It's okay for me to say, I deserve this. I worked my tail off, or I got where I am because I had so much drive and dedication that I can do this, right? And whatever that looks like to you, right? Whether it is being an artist, whether it is becoming whatever it is, right? I love that. It's funny because a lot of people say, well, it's just too late for me, or oh, there's no payoff in the end. Well, I guess it depends on how you define payoff, right? I had a friend I was just talking to, and she's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to get my PhD. Like that's always been a dream of mine." I'm like, "Then go get your PhD." And she's like, "I'm going to be 50. Like by the time I pay for the PhD, is it really going to pay off in the end?" And I was like, "It all depends on what it gives you intrinsically, that feeling of I accomplished this, I did this, and I've always wanted to." Okay, so you pay student loans off for the next, 20 years or whatever. And maybe it won't financially pay off, but maybe we stop thinking always about it being a financial payoff and be more of a personal payoff, right?
Absolutely. And I always tell people, I don't want to be in a position, especially I think about this obviously with my friend a lot. And I don't want to be at the end of my life having regrets.
Yep.
And I don't want to be haunted by that. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be told tomorrow I have cancer and I'm like, I should have done this, I should have done that.
Yep.
And so I had a student this last week come in and goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. My kids are going to college. Now it's my turn." I said, "I am so excited you're here." But it's sad to me a little bit that you felt like you had to wait till they went to college, right? Because you matter. And I talk about this a lot with the airplane. They say the oxygen on you and then on the kids, but so many moms put it on the neighbor and the aunt and the uncle, everybody, and then they put themselves. Like even with
Mm-hmm.
doctor's appointments, we will have a pain or something like that. We're like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. Well, unfortunately, like even with my friend, like with cancer, you push it off too late, then it's advanced. And so I also want to share that story of like, you've got to put yourself, you're equally important with those kids,
Yep.
and
Yep.
if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of them.
Yes.
And if you don't feel good and you don't, yeah. So I feel like mamas take a step back and go, am I taking care of me?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
most moms are like, nope. But
Nope.
my kids are all up to date on the vaccines and the doctor's appointments. But I haven't been to a doctor in 5 years. And you're like,
Yep.
no,
Yep.
you know?
So I'm so sorry to hear about your friend.
Yeah.
And was her cancer, because she didn't go to the doctor and get like mammograms and stuff, or was it like how
So
did that
what I
all
want to
happen?
share about her story and what
Mm-hmm.
I think the greatest thing about actually being on American Ninja Warrior was because it's opened so many doors to share my story, but
Yep.
to share her story.
Yes.
And I love that because it is really hard. So she basically had some pains. She did have some stuff checked out, but it wasn't the proper mammogram. There's a 2D and a 3D. Make sure you're
Mm-hmm.
always getting 3D. 2D doesn't show everything. But if she's honest, there was definitely pains longer than she should have. And unfortunately, by the time they went in, it had already progressed. And so I think that's the difficult thing. And I will admit I'm one of those people too, where I'm like, oh, it's fine, right? And then you push it off. And so I think by sharing her story, it's like, mamas, make sure you are taking care of yourself, getting those mammograms regularly, especially over the age of 40, requesting them and making sure that, and even ultrasounds, all that, don't ignore anything. Because what she was feeling was pretty normal stuff that I experienced. And
Mm-hmm.
so so it had already progressed to the lymph nodes. And then
Mm.
it came back in her liver, spine, and brain. And she's been fighting for almost 7 years now.
Oh my gosh, she's got to be
And
exhausted.
she is my hero. So she teaches special education and it is, everybody's like, Angela, you're so amazing. And I'm like, no, she's so amazing. Like, she's actually the warrior behind me. And I wouldn't be here today. Sorry.
Okay.
If it wasn't for her.
Mm-hmm. I'm so
So,
sorry.
Mama's like, yeah, it's really difficult. And, I give her all the credit. So the story you hear today wouldn't be a story without her.
Mm-hmm.
And it took the wake up call of her getting that diagnosis to be where I am today. But I needed that wake up call. And I hope and pray that there's one person listening to this that maybe needs that wake up call of, maybe going and getting checked out and you've been ignoring something for a while. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and just recognizing that tomorrow isn't promised. We always think, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that next year, I'll do that when my kids go to college. But that isn't guaranteed, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like that is what I love about my story is that, it is never too late and to never give up. And I love that I'm a mom and I love that I'm
Yes.
old.
Yeah.
I love that I'm a mom and old. So when my students laugh, because I also have like autoimmune diseases and all sorts of stuff wrong with me. So when people come complain to me about their ailments, I'm like, great, do
Yep.
what you can.
Yep.
Like
Move on.
I have that too.
Yep.
I cut and
Exactly.
fit. I taught fitness classes in a boot in a chair for 2 months when I got a third-degree sprain because everything else works, just your
Yep.
foot doesn't work. So I'm I'm it's hard. It's been a really hard journey, but I feel so grateful that I now get to inspire others. And that's everybody says, "What's the next big thing for me?" And I would say it's I love the doors it's opened
Hmm.
that I get to help inspire moms and share this story and hopefully I'm someone's wake up call.
I think you absolutely have been by to many people. So thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming back and giving us an update. Thank you for being a badass and doing what your heart set out to do and figuring out a way to get there. Like that's huge. And I just want to say thank you for being such an inspiration to so many. You probably touch more lives than you have any idea that you do. So thank you for that. All those moms who watched you on American Ninja and went, well, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to get off the couch and do something too, right? You just don't have any
Yes.
idea what the lasting effects are of what you've done. So, and what you continue to do. So, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing and giving us an update. And so many blessings and love to your friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. And we'll see you next time on Let's Be Real Mama Journeys.